up to you. There's a really lovely buzz about it. Poetry is fantastic to talk about. Okay. Are there any suggestions? This is when it goes deathly quiet. Are there any suggestions as to what this poem is about? It's about the aging process, isn't it? How does the poet feel about that? Are they happy getting older? I don't think they're really happy about it, but what they don't want is for somebody else to be really sympathetic and try to do everything for them, do they? They really want the person who's reading it to still see them as an individual person. This is the kind of poem that will be in that paper. We don't know what the subject will be, but it is this kind of thing. It is accessible in the sense of we've all got an opinion on how we feel as we're getting older. And the students, you should be able to pull out of this some language devices that have been used. Is anybody be brave enough to shout out that language devices being used? Go on. Repetition, okay? That repetition, that idea that's kept going. Exclamative as well. Look at the punctuation that's been used. Yes, fantastic. Okay, so the reason that they are being used is really to emphasise that poet's feelings. This is a real person that's here. Students in English need to think really carefully about their time in an exam. Really and truthfully, it's a minute a mark. That's a really fast pace to be having to think and work things out and to write a response. We will take you through exactly how to plan your time in those papers, but that's the kind of thing that you need to have at the back of your mind. It's really a minute mark in those papers. So reading is really important. So one of the things that we would really encourage you to do is do loads of reading. Read lots of different things. You can do it around your subject areas. I know your other subject teachers are giving you lots of reading material as well. Just keep practicing that reading and asking yourself what is happening all the time. The kinds of questions on that right-hand side of that page, what's the poem about, what does it mean, what kind of intention does the poet have, are all the kinds of things that we would expect you to be asking yourselves as you are reading those poems. When you answer this kind of question, it will be something along these lines. On aging, how does the poet present the speaker's attitudes towards growing old? And this kind of unseen poet, they will always generally look for the attitudes and asking you to think, what does this person think about something? And that's a 24-mark question. So if you turn the page over, you get given a second unseen poem. This unseen poem will have a link with the first one. You will get to compare them, and then you will get to, you will have written about the first one, and then you get an opportunity to compare them. This second poem, we've written up here that you would have in an exam about 15 minutes to read this poem and then to write the short comparison with the first poem. So you can see how tight time is in that exam, but it's something that you have been used to doing in terms of looking at unseen text, and the skills that you've got that you've been looking at all the other texts with, you're reading them and analysing them, are all relevant to this. We just wanted to share those with you and show you those so you can see the kinds of levels of text that your child is experiencing in those exams. And these are the unseen ones that we've got. In terms of practice for English, reading most definitely is one. One of the other things that we've been encouraging students to do is to make sure they are revising for all the texts as we move forward. We have recently had some sketchbooks that we have offered to students. If you are still interested in taking one of those, come and see me either at the end here or speak to your class teacher. The idea of those is that those sketchbooks are giving you one place to do your revision in. And we're seeing some really good quality results from that if you are interested in doing that as well. But all of these things that are listed up here and that are in the back of the booklet are the things that we would suggest that you do. So obviously making sure that your classwork is of a high standard. Please don't leave the classroom not understanding something. Please come and talk to us as English teachers and make sure you understand what it is that we've been talking about if you've been unsure. Literature, make sure you are rereading those texts. I know you've talked about Macbeth quite a lot. I know you've talked about the spectacles quite a lot, but it is well worth going back over Writing stamina under the timed conditions is really important, and we will help you with the timing, but make sure that you are practicing your answering those questions in timed conditions. Please respond to all the feedback. We're about to give back our fourth paper for English, and you are going to be given some feedback. Please make sure you respond to that. If you're unsure about it, come and talk to us. Talk to your parents about it as well, and make sure that you've got an understanding of where you need to go next in English. And we are happy to talk to you about that. Make sure that your revision is active and purposeful, when it works for you. Make sure it's the thing that is relevant for you and it's going to work. So if you are somebody who wanted to do one of the sketchbooks, come and talk to us. If you want to use the cue cards, then they are equally as valid, but you need to work out which of those things is going to work for you more effectively. And then most definitely reflect on your PPEs, on what it is that we're saying to you need to do next. If you are unsure about any of these things, students, you can go to your class teachers. Parents, you can either contact the class teacher, the English class teacher, or Mrs. Emily Lloyd, who's the head of Key Stage 4, or myself. We'd be more than happy to talk you through any of those things. I'm going to pass over to the slide.